This week's Tech News Day is sponsored by Stitch Fix and by Drop. And we'll tell you more about them later.
Yeah, so it's been pretty clear for a long time that physical media is dying. And there have been plenty of reasons to see this as a good thing. With the rise of MP3s around 20 years ago, we were finally able to enjoy our music without lugging around an entire bookshelf of CD jewel cases or having to buy an entire album just to listen to the one good song on it.
And you get the little pack that goes on top of your sunshade in your car. And
then in the summer they melt.
And you turn too hard and they go flying out the window.
Good times.
Yeah.
The rise of ebooks has similarly liberated people from having to lug around and store a bunch of books. Digital video games has allowed us to shop for games from the comfort of home and start playing them minutes after adding them to our shopping cart. And services like Netflix have opened up a whole world of video entertainment that was previously impossible.
The best thing about the CD books in your car, which is the worst thing, is that it was very easy for anyone who wanted to steal something to steal your entire album collection.
Well, there it goes.
Who would have thought that people would be leaving these in their cars?
Guess I'm a pirate now.
Anyways, in addition to all the positives that come with digital media, there are, of course, a lot of negatives. The expanding pool of video-on-demand services means watching specific titles is getting trickier and more expensive and, sometimes hard to find. You just give up without even looking.
Yeah.
There's, of course, plenty of beloved movies and shows out there that are simply unavailable through legal digital means. And with music, a local MP3 library was one thing, but we're increasingly reliant on services that we pay for monthly where we don't actually own any of the music. And due to constantly changing licensing contracts, your favorite tracks can just disappear without warning or never be available at your service of choice in the first place.
Yeah, I recently...
Remember Tidal? It's still around.
Apparently. I was looking through on Spotify, you can just see like every song you've ever liked or added to your library. I was scrolling through it and there was a shocking number of songs that were like grayed out.
Yeah.
Because they're not like available on the service anymore. And a lot of times it's like individual songs from albums that just happen to have slightly different publishing.
When they put this one on Madden 2014, we had to take it off the service. EA owns the song now. There's also the issue of what happens when a cloud media service that you've spent lots of money on just ceases to exist.
Poof.
Yeah, we've talked about it recently with the OnLive shit because of Google Stadia.
And we saw this happen with cloud gaming service OnLive a few years back when they sold their patents to Sony and just ceased all operations. People who had been loyal customers of OnLive for their 5 years of existence and had purchased any number of games on the platform were left just shit out of luck. With no more OnLive, users' entire game libraries disappeared, and despite OnLive's patents being bought up by a massive global conglomerate with lots and lots of money, no refunds or exchanges were offered. If you'd been using OnLive as your game platform of choice, you were left with nothing. Is this something that you should keep in mind before signing up for Google Stadia? Yes, probably.
It'd be a good idea.
We'll get to some Stadia news a little later, but the point is, purchasing anything from a cloud media service means that you don't actually own anything. You're just licensing it. And when the service that you're licensing it from goes away, so does all the stuff that you bought.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole lot to dig into here with, Steam potentially doing that. But when you're paying for a service specifically, they can just get rid of it at any time, any part of it. Anyways, the latest example of this kind of thing happening comes to us this week from Microsoft, a company who is very much not going out of business, but one who has decided to shut down one of its specific cloud media services, the ebooks in the Microsoft Store. Now, you may be completely unaware that ebooks were even a thing that Microsoft was doing, and even if you were aware, you were probably turned off by how half-assed and overly restrictive the whole thing worked. And, I mean, that's probably why it's shutting down.
Yeah.
So the free market did its job in this case. It doesn't sound like a whole lot of people were actually using it. Not a lot of Zunes out there that active anymore. Not a lot of Windows phones that were using it for ebooks. But for those who did buy ebooks from Microsoft between the service's launch and now, it's shutting down and you're losing all your ebooks. So all of that knowledge, just pages and pages of knowledge.
My books!
I had time now.
There was time!
Someone who owned all these ebooks through Microsoft just retired and was like, I have been collecting any time there was a sale on the Microsoft Store.
All the time in the world.
Ironically enough, there was a huge sale very recently. I bought up so many things for so cheap.
All these books.
Finally, on retirement day, I had time.
Yeah.
And then someone stepped on their Windows phone.
No. You can't buy Windows phones anymore.
It's a collector's item.
Ebooks purchased from Microsoft came with some pretty restrictive DRM, and with the DRM servers shutting down, any books purchased will no longer work. Microsoft is, to their credit, issuing refunds for all purchases, but if you ever made annotations on any of your ebook purchases, those are going away forever with no easy way to save them. But hey, they're giving away $25 gift cards to anyone who did make annotations. No one's losing any money here, but they are losing their libraries of books that they probably safely assumed would be there forever since Microsoft is such an established brand. And anyone who relied on Microsoft ebooks for academia or research and annotated those books with lots and lots of notes, they are in fact shit out of luck.
Well, okay, hold on. So I made fun of the Windows Phone. They do have tablets and shit that are very nice, I'm sure.
Yes.
That's what people might have read these on. Are they, at the very least, going to at least show them in the refund all the book titles so they can go get them elsewhere? That would be the one thing where I'd be like, at least show me what I owned, because if it's been a couple of years, like maybe I had something that I hadn't gotten around to.
I think this has already happened. They announced it like 2 months ago, but like, it was only being reported on this week. Like, no one fucking even noticed.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're the kind of person that takes notes on your books, maybe go back to pen and paper.
Anyways, there's no reason right now to really worry that services like Steam or iTunes are going away anytime soon, but there's also no reason to assume that eventually that wouldn't or would happen. We don't know. It's entirely possible that 10 or 20 years from now, Apple is going to decide iTunes is no longer worth their time. Well, they're already changing the name.
Yeah.
So it is gone, but not the
songs are still there.
While Steam is still very much the top dog in PC gaming, we're beginning to see some serious competition arise in that space. It's absurd to think about now, but in a decade, something like the Epic Store could be so successful that Valve decides to just sell off its assets and cash out and fuck you, gamers. They're not doing that yet, and it probably won't happen for a long, long time if it does, but who knows? With no laws on the books for properly compensating users and exchanging their product licenses, it's definitely something to be concerned about, especially as we become more and more reliant on these types of things, and even consoles inch closer to abandoning physical media entirely. So, and it's not like if you bought like, I don't know, I just use the example Madden 2014, and like in 2030 they delete it, and it's like, hey, EA, I bought this, can I have another code for it? And you're like, what the fuck,
get out of here. No. Anyways, speaking of which, Google Stadia. Whatever.
Yeah.
Surely a large established tech giant like Google would never meet the same fate as a young struggling startup like OnLive, right? I mean, it's not like Google has repeatedly over the years launched various services only to shut them down a few years later with little notice or explanation, right? Wrong.
Yes.
At the very least, though, Google seems to be really going for it with Stadia, at least for now. But I mean, if they don't get the mass adoption that they clearly seem to be expecting when it does launch, how much life does Stadia really have?
Not much at all, I would assume.
There's no way to know, but recent comments from a Google executive indicate that they may not have fully thought this through.
Oh, you don't say? Oh, you think it was a launch first, figure it out later kind of thing from Google?
Weird.
Working out the bugs with the not beta testers, the limited edition Google Stadia users.
Early adopters.
Like me, who fucking forked it over because I want that controller.
The Google Stadia freshman class.
Yeah, I did get the limited edition because I have fast internet and I'm the perfect test case for it, so I want to see if it works.
Well, they say a sucker's born every minute, so.
And you know what? I'm very, very suckers old. Phil Harrison, VP and General Manager of Google, was asked in an interview with GameSpot whether he saw ISP data caps as a concern for Stadia. Fuck, it's so hard. He responded with this: data caps are not a universal challenge. The ISPs have a strong history of staying ahead of consumer trends, and if you look at the history of data caps in those small number of markets, and it's actually a relatively small number of markets that have data caps, the trend over time, when music streaming and download became popular, especially in the early days when it was not necessarily legitimate, data caps moved up. Then with the evolution of TV and film streaming, data caps moved up. And we expect that will continue to be the case.
Oh boy.
That was kind of a jarbled mess there of a...
This man should be president.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the old word soup going up there.
Yeah. Harrison was then presented with the question of whether Stadia adoption would be or could be widespread enough to even signal a trend to ISPs for them to respond to. And he said, quote, ISPs are smart, and they understand they're in the business of keeping customers happy and keeping customers with them for a long time. What the fuck are you talking about?
This man is so disconnected from fucking reality.
Yeah.
He's been rich for too long.
Literally none of what he just said there is true. Like, ISPs have virtual monopolies, which makes them one of the slowest industries to ever actually address increasing customer needs. They absolutely do throttle data transfer rates for users who transfer a lot of data, and that's something you should actually be very worried about for your new data hog service that you're hoping people will go all in on as their new gaming library. So your lack of concern is a bit concerning, sir.
Yeah, that quote is bad because it's...
What are you talking about?
There's nothing but actual real examples of them not in giving a shit about their customers in any form.
Yeah. No, like they all, after you've used a certain amount of data, will start throttling your data. And there's no laws explicitly stopping them from doing that.
Yeah. So also the other thing is and I said this when we covered it for the first time, he may not be wrong, but it's not going to be because of Google Stadia. It's going to be because of all of the major telecoms owning all of these media services who are going to be streaming things in 4K and eventually 8K. They'll need to actually up their things to facilitate their own fucking content. So it's not because of Google, you disconnected fuck.
Yeah, I mean, there's still huge...
I'm sure you're a nice person.
There's still huge parts of this country that don't even have broadband.
Yeah, no.
And thanks to...
Warner streaming media is not for people in Kentucky, I'm sorry.
Ajit Pai has really made it extra easy for these companies to not give a fuck about meeting consumer demands. So this is extremely naive of Google to just be like, nah, it'll all work out.
Everyone in rural areas with bad internet, hope you fucking don't miss The Office when it goes to an actual telecom streaming company in 2021. Because you ain't getting shit. Anyways, let's move on, please.
Yeah, in other Google news, remember the mannequin challenge? You and your friends, y'all stood still in a room doing wacky poses while your one least photogenic friend manned the camera.
Ricky will do it. Okay. I'll be in the next one, right?
Yeah. Then that ugly friend moved around the room, capturing that moment stuck in time. It was magical, it was fun, it was harmless, except for the feelings of that cameraman. But it was also apparently a great data set for Google to train their AI with. That's right, your mannequin challenge video may have been fed into a neural network to train it to understand 3D space and depth in 2D images with applications in robotics and self-driving cars.
These fucking idiots are just giving it to us.
Yeah.
These dumb things.
It's the perfect data set for something like that. They said it's better than any of their actual simulated models. Which makes us put on our little conspiracy hats and wonder if Google went out of its way to get the mannequin challenge trending back when it was so that they'd have more data to work with.
It was just like the, very believable conspiracy that was going around about the 10-year challenge a couple months ago with Facebook, where it was just you're literally training an AI to be able to age.
Yeah. And the mannequin challenge is also great for getting, multiple angles of a person's face, the way you'd 3D scan fucking anything.
Well, I wonder, I'm very excited to see what kind of data that Google is going to be able to pull from the bottle cap challenge. Just how coordinated people are, their physical abilities.
They're gonna train a fucking robot to, did you see the Jason Statham one?
Oh, it's very impressive.
Yeah, they're gonna train a robot to kick me right in the chin and make my head spin until it flies off my body.
My favorite one so far is the old man where his our age son helps him and guides his foot to do it, and then everyone cheers for it. It's wonderful. Not gonna try it though. Anyways, all of this data analysis stuff from Google, it's best just to not think about it and just keep uploading your robot food. I mean, YouTube videos. Just do that.
Nom, 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 nom.
They love it.
Give me footage.
Speaking of YouTube, if you've used it ever, you've probably gotten some videos over on the recommendation sidebar or up in your next in queue thing. And sometimes you're not interested in them at all. For me, it's most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm not a sit and watch kind of YouTube person. I watch the video and I leave. This is most apparent when watching content that is in any way political, which almost always leads to recommendations mostly consisting of videos whose title begins with Ben Shapiro destroys, or a completely irrelevant clip from Joe Rogan. Say what you will, but both of those guys have really figured out SEO.
Yeah.
So
credit where it's due.
Now, previously you could click those 3 little dots next to the video and tell YouTube you're not interested, but whether this was effective at all was questionable. And now, though, they're rolling out a new feature that lets you click those dots and tell YouTube to never again recommend this channel, which is nice, but also something they should have included years ago when they first implemented autoplay.
Yeah. Seems like one of the very first things you'd want to make sure, that you're not bombarding people with things they don't want to watch. But hey, we did it.
If you want to see a great at-length description of how the recommendation stuff failed YouTube's user base, check out the podcast Behind the Bastards, who did Behind the Bastards on YouTube recently.
Yeah, where the original architect of YouTube's AI is now like staunchly just like, to anyone who are listening, it's like, this is bad. Yeah. They need to fix this.
Let me tell you what they did. Please, will someone listen to me?
Yeah. Anyways, it's time for a word from this week's sponsors, starting with Stitch Fix. Personal style is like a fingerprint. Everyone has their own. Whatever your style, the expert stylists at Stitch Fix are ready to help you express yourself. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that delivers your favorite clothing brands right to your door. To get started, go to stitchfix.com/newsday, answer some questions about your preferred style, and your personal shopper will ship you a box of clothes, shoes, and accessories.
There's no commitment required, and you only pay for what you keep. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. Plus, the $20 styling fee is automatically applied towards anything that you keep from your box. You'll never have to worry about looking good again with Stitch Fix. So get started today at stitchfix.com/newsday, all one word, and get an extra 25% off when you keep everything in your box. That is stitchfix.com/newsday. I got a fantastic Hawaiian shirt in the last box, and I rocked it at a barbecue, and people gave me compliments. I can't wear it on the show. People make fun of me. I've already said it.
But I'm wearing Stitch Fix shorts. You can't see it.
They look great. They're great summer shorts.
Sun's out, shins out.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
Also, this episode is sponsored by Drop.
Wop wop.
Formerly known as Mass Drop.
Oh.
They recently sent us the PC37X gaming headset, a collaboration between them and Sennheiser.
Oh, great.
And I've been working with it for the last few days. I love it. They're great for gaming and, in our case, doing lots of internet and editing overly long YouTube videos. It's getting real hot these days, so the fact that these headphones have an open back design that lets in some air and stops things from getting sweaty, that's great.
They got vents almost.
Yeah, vent the ears.
Yeah.
They're very comfy headphones that aren't going to drive you crazy during a long sesh.
And most importantly, the audio quality is great. Sennheiser has been making high quality audio products for over 80 years, and it shows. I've owned a ton of Sennheiser headphones. Yeah. They're fucking great. So the fact that this is a collaboration, immediate seal of approval. When you're in game, you can hear exactly where the footsteps are coming from. The microphone quality is shockingly good. Here's a quick sample recorded directly through the mic.
Oh hey, it's me at home, testing out that microphone for your ears.
So if you're in the market for a new set of gaming cans, check out the PC37X by Drop and Sennheiser. It's got over 10,000 purchases on Drop and loads of 5-star reviews like the ones you're seeing on the screen right now. So head over to dro.ps/technewsday-PC37X. For the love of God, just please click the description and don't try to type it in yourself. But if you do go to that link, you'll get $20 off your purchase of the PC37X. Again, if you're in the market for a great set of headphones, you want to support the show, support our sponsors, check these out. Mass Drop X Sennheiser PC37X. And yeah, just click the link in the description below. Anyways.
Back to the news now. Apple fanboys and fangirls got some of the most stunning news since the death of Steve Jobs last week when it was announced that Jony Ive, Apple's chief design officer since 1992, was leaving the company to go start his own design firm. Jony Ive is credited with the design aesthetics for everything Apple has made since its big comeback in the mid-90s, and consequently, he's largely responsible for electronics in general looking way less shitty nowadays than they did 20 years ago. Whether you love Apple or hate Apple, it cannot be understated how much Jony Ive contributed to their success, as well as just the general concern for product design across the whole industry. Yeah. Like, computers used to look like shit.
But they work. Why would people need them to look good?
It's a big beige box.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
Yeah, we need to make the keyboard, the keys bigger because people can hit them.
A lot of people smoke in their homes, so we just made it look like that.
Like 30 years of cigarette smoke.
It comes already looking like it's been surrounded by cigarette smoke.
Oh, man.
You're gonna love it.
By the way, I need a fucking Apple fanboy next to me. It's very hot in here. Some fanboy come here and fan me down. With Jony Ive's departure, it comes with a lot of alleged drama. Statements from Jony Ive and Tim Cook about the breakup were, of course, cordial, but reports in the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg cite multiple unnamed sources who claim the breakup was less than amicable. Supposedly, Ive and Cook did not see eye to eye about a lot of things, and Ive only came to work a couple times a week. Instead, forcing entire teams to travel to San Francisco where he lives for meetings. Fucking
it's like
huge
an
flex.
hour-long drive.
Fucking sick flex, dude.
Yeah, I'm working from home, so why don't you all just, cross the Bay Bridge, come on over here. But Johnny, the traffic's terrible.
Nah.
Yeah, well, I'm Jony Ive. Fuck you.
Yeah, Elon Musk hasn't built my rapid Tesla tunnel yet for just me. Now, in particular, it sounds like Cook wanted the Apple Watch to be marketed as a practical iPhone accessory, while Ive wanted it to be marketed as a luxury fashion product. Ive's idea mostly won, and as a result, Apple Watch sales underperformed. Reportedly, a lot of Apple design staff felt that Tim Cook was already not showing nearly enough interest in the design aspects of Apple products, and with the departure of Jony Ive, they're not feeling optimistic about things going forward. So
yeah, really sounds like
maybe you should have made the trip.
Should have come over to just move the headquarters to my house.
Just fucking telecommute. What's the big deal? You don't have to be there in person.
I don't fucking know. It's from the sound of it, like he's just like, yeah, well, Steve Jobs hired me, so I'm actually like the most senior person at this company. Like, Tim, you're just a guy.
Yeah.
I've been here since the glory days.
Well, it sounds like he acted exactly like that.
Yeah.
But this is like the biggest thing with me. Like the future of business is going to change. The landscape's going to change, and housing prices can fucking stabilize if companies would just let people telecommute. Half of the jobs in Los Angeles are just answering emails and going to meetings.
Yeah.
You can go to a meeting on your fucking webcam and you can answer emails from your bedroom, and then we don't have to fucking drive 40 miles to get somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, our last 6 months at Machinima were spent working from home.
Yeah, pretty much.
And nothing changed.
Absolutely nothing changed.
In fact, work was more efficient. Anyways, Tim Cook reads the Wall Street Journal, and he was not too happy about their reporting about this. He was so unhappy, in fact, that he fired off this email to NBC reporter Dylan Byers saying, quote, "The story is absurd. A lot of the reporting, and certainly the conclusions, just don't match with reality. At a base level, it shows a lack of understanding about how the design team works and how Apple works. It distorts the relationships, decisions, and events to the point that we just don't recognize the company it claims to describe." So yeah, Tim Cook mad.
Yeah.
He is raising his voice.
He wouldn't put that mouse on that damn watch, and I had to pull an audible at the last second to get it on there.
Johnny, the Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse are going on that watch face. I don't care how low class you think it is. People want the mouse. Anyway, so regardless of what's true, who knows? We're entering a new era of Apple design, and it'll be very interesting to see where that leads.
Ugly as fuck.
Woo!
Could be.
They should go back to the 90s thing where it was like fucking bright pastel colors and like
bubble see-through.
Semi-transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, everyone thought it looked cool. Looking back now, very weird looking.
Yeah, it was like, it was the
Hey, the
same
computer's got a handle.
design aspect that Volkswagen uses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone that drove Volkswagen.
The car's got a little thing to put a flower in.
Literally my only friends who owned a fucking one of those Bubble Macs.
Yeah.
Also had, because it was around the same time that they re-released the Bug.
Yeah.
And they had both.
Wow.
Yeah. It smelled like crayons in the car. It was wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyways, let's close out the show with a few recent examples of how we're living in the early stages of the apocalypse. Everybody loves this part of the show.
Yeah.
Down in Guadalajara, Mexico, which is a generally a warm place.
Yeah.
Especially in late June. I mean, it's hot here.
Yeah.
Gotta be hot there, closer to the
Mexico?
equator.
Hay caliente. Hay calor.
Muy
I say
caliente.
calor. Fucking
Muy
crazy.
caliente.
I'm not running for president, so my Spanish is bad.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, yes, Guadalajara, Mexico, June, very hot. Anyways, a hailstorm Sunday night dropped 5 feet of hail onto the city, producing some absolutely surreal imagery that looks like something you'd see out of the Midwest in January, not Mexico in the midsummer. Now, it's unknown to what extent climate change may be involved in this very odd occurrence, but you go ahead and just throw this on the pile of examples of extremely weird weather from the last few years.
Yeah. Not really normal.
Yeah.
It happened in the middle of the night, and it destroyed a bunch of people's houses.
What the fuck?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
videos of just people in Mexico being like, what the fuck is going on? I have to dig my car out? This is weird.
Yeah.
And then it all like melted and just turned into this
Oh, yeah,
slush.
it's like permanent, like hard ice too. Like,
Yeah. Just a real mess.
Yeah.
Anyways, meanwhile, over in Alabama, warmer winters have been great news for the local yellow jacket wasp populations.
Oh, good.
Who usually die off in the winter, but nowadays are increasingly just doing their thing year-round. As a result of the winter warmth, there are way more worker wasps actually surviving into another year, which allows yellow jackets to really build up their new seasonal nests. This happened back in 2006 with local entomologists documenting several dozen absurdly large Alabama yellow jacket nests. And this year, they're saying it's happening again, but even worse. Entomologist Charles Ray told Alabama A&M publication Extension, quote, "We confirmed 2 nests in May and have indications of a 3rd. This puts us several weeks earlier than in 2006 when we identified the first giant nest on June 13th. If we're seeing them a month sooner than we did in 2006, I am very concerned that there will be a large number of them in the state. The nests I have seen this year already have more than 10,000 workers and are expanding rapidly." So, yeah, if you look at these fucking nests, absolutely horrifying. Just burn the house down. But don't worry, just perfectly normal stuff. No need to be concerned. Carry on.
Is it ironic or unironic that in Alabama the workers' rights of wasps are also being trampled on? I was supposed to die.
Yeah.
Now I have to keep working.
I was supposed to have a winter break, and it's not cold yet. What's happening?
I gotta keep working. Oh,
man. You built the nest.
Meanwhile, if you're hoping to cool off this summer and avoid those yellow jackets down at the local pool, maybe you shouldn't. The Centers for Disease Control released a new report last week about gastrointestinal parasite Cryptosporidium, which states that outbreaks of the diarrhea-causing parasite, mostly found in pools and water playgrounds, it's been steadily rising by 13% per year for the last decade. The parasite is quite resilient, even in heavily chlorinated water, and can remain present in well-treated pools for up to a week. An infected person spews out around 100 million eggs in a single bout of diarrhea, and ingesting just 10 of those eggs in a mouthful of contaminated pool water can lead to an infection. Or if you open your eyes underwater, or anything
just any
else.
orifice, yeah.
Anyways, if that happens, welcome to 3 weeks of awesome kick-ass diarrhea.
Woo!
Where you can pay it forward at the local water park.
Yeah.
And during those 3 weeks, you will be the one spreading the disease if you happen to spend any time in a swimming pool. Odds are the pool is already infected, though. 58% of pools tested by the CDC back in 2013 already had it floating around in there. So enjoy summertime.
Yeah.
You know that this would have never happened if it wasn't for, we need to close down the CDC.
Put it out of sight, out of mind. These little nags down at the CDC. Mind your own business.
Back in my day, we just got diarrhea all the time and no one cared.
We didn't know where it came from. It's just a
part of life.
Thing that just happened to happen when we spent more time down at the pool than usual.
If you tell me that I have to have diarrhea but also get a fun day at the water park, easy choice for me.
Also, I love that every pool, at least in California, they have those warnings. If you've had diarrhea in the last 2 weeks,
don't go in here.
And no one listens to that.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm fine.
I'm gonna go in the jacuzzi, which will cauterize the diarrhea.
Oh my
kill
God.
all of it. And then I'll go in the pool. And then it'll be safe. So I actually should go in the pool.
Here I come.
Anyways, in our final example of the impending apocalypse, over in Denver last week, a scene straight out of The Office took place IRL when nearly 100 drivers followed the advice of their GPS and got their cars stuck in mud. A car crash was creating a lot of traffic congestion, so Google Maps helpfully offered a detour that would help people get to their destinations in half the time. Only problem was that detour was down a long dirt road, which, thanks to some recent rain, was very muddy and not suitable for most cars. It was also a private road, but hey, all those other cars are going this way already, so it seems legit, right? Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the muddy road was also only a single lane wide, so once the cars started getting stuck, everyone else in line was also stuck, rut-row, and making things even more fun was the fact that this was right by the airport, so a lot of these people were trying to make their flights, and a lot of them didn't. Anyways, it's not quite Michael Scott driving into a lake because the GPS told him to, but it's still a good example of maybe we should be a bit more skeptical of those GPS directions.
If you live in Colorado, you need to have a 4x4 for 4-wheel drive.
You need a monster truck.
Everyone there just drives Subarus anyway. How did they get stuck?
I mean,
these are all rental cars.
Subarus are great, but if you're in 8 inches of mud, I don't know. I think you're still...
You just turn it on Australian mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it jumps you out like a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Really easy. Great feature on the Subaru. Very safe. Have you seen the Subaru commercial that just describes the entire commercial for blind people? It's on all the time. A woman holds her stomach. Her child is on the way. They go to the beach. She looks out over the ocean. She returns home in her Subaru. She comes back. The baby's been born. The baby sees the beach. Subaru. It's safe.
Well, that's... those are those...
Descriptive commercials.
Descriptive... captions or whatever. So many people have posted online about accidentally turning that on Netflix and like watching entire movies, being like,
Oh, with it talking over it?
they're like, this is a weird narrative choice. Why would they do this? Are they ever going to explain why there's a man describing everything on screen?
I don't have it turned on my like Hulu or whatever. I just see it, and it's weird because I'll see the commercial without it and then see it with it. Subaru is just a very progressive company, as we all know. Everyone in Colorado owns one. So.
Yeah, well, the blind people need to drive too. Wait, what?
Well, if you're gonna drive blind, you might as well be in the safest car on the road.
Safest. Look, a lot of people think maybe the blind shouldn't ever be behind the wheel of a car.
Those people are degenerate, regressive pieces of shit.
You know, we're a woke brand, and we say let everyone drive. Children,
but if you're
the
blind. If
blind.
you're gonna do it in a Subaru so you don't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's our show for this week.
We're going to be at RTX Sunday morning. Well, we'll be there both days, Saturday and Sunday. Sunday morning, we're doing our live show at 12:30 Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday afternoon, literally afternoon, 12:30 p.m. But we'll also have a merch booth there all weekend. Come get some exclusive merch, say hi, hang out. Make sure you're there for the show. Check the RTX app to see where it is. And we're excited for that.
Also, we did a new podcast that's for our patrons and YouTube members. So if you're involved in either of those things,
you can get it.
Go look at it.
Check out Patreon page and YouTube members, community tab, and if you don't have it, sign up. It's the 4th of July. Your parents gave you money for fireworks. Give it to us.
Don't spend it on fireworks. You'll lose a finger.
Yeah.
Anyways, watch our most recent stuff here. Marianne Williamson is going to be our next president, and she's going to save America through power of orbs and good vibes.
And their third eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, new episode of News Dump.
See you guys soon.
Bye-bye.